If you feel like you're constantly tidying but nothing stays organized, then you might be making one of these 3 common mistakes. Let's go. Hello, welcome back to The Crafty Organizer. I'm Noreen Eppley, and I have had the privilege of being a professional organizer since right around 2012. And in that time, I've seen some consistent mistakes that people make not on purpose, but they think they're going about organizing in one way, and it's actually making it harder for them. Starting with number 1. Focusing on organization instead of decluttering. This is one of the most painful things for me to tell my clients and to you if I'm working with you, and that's sometimes you need to let go of a lot of things in order to organize efficiently what you have and care about. In this first example, this particular homeowner had a lot of interests, starting with sewing and scrapbook making. They did a lot of junk journaling and just liked upcycling different things with different ephemera. But what that meant is there were so many micro categories that were overflowing, it was hard for them to ever make rhyme or reason of what they had. By consolidating things down into general categories and letting some of those treasures go, they were able to fit all of their favorite things into the existing space and even had a little bit of room to grow. The reason decluttering is so important is oftentimes if you're just putting likes with likes, if you've watched me before, you know how important that is. You could be putting things that you don't need or want anymore into a pile of things that's taking up space. So declutter first. Get rid of those empty boxes. Get rid of those items that you meant to do something with. Get rid of those items that you should have done something but haven't. By letting those go, you're going to have so much more room for those things that are most important right now. In this example, the homeowner had plenty of space and things were beautifully organized, but with a new baby comes a lot of extras. Not knowing what to do with the things as the baby quickly outgrew them meant that they were just setting things aside. By not dealing with those things as they are coming ready for donating or selling, it meant they piled up and they lost control of this space. This one was an easy one because they already knew the things they no longer needed or didn't want. So by just loading them in a car and donating them, they got their space back right away. This next picture might be a little hard to see, but I want to encourage you to look at this lens and see how it might compare to your own situation, but do so with compassion, whether it's for someone else or for yourself. This particular homeowner had recently lost their spouse and was going through the process of grief through retail therapy. I see this a lot, and this is where decluttering really comes into play. In this particular instance, most of the things in that kitchen were empty boxes. They were just setting them in there to deal with later, and eventually, as things start to pile up, the feeling of being overwhelmed happens so fast that you don't know what to do with it. So you just start piling things on top of it. And before you know it, it's out of control. We were able to do this entire kitchen for this client in one day. Why? Because it was easy to declutter the trash, the empty boxes, and then just look at what was left. And in this instance, there was a lot of things to be returned. And the few items that were left that they wanted to keep, we simply made homes for. So to recap, decluttering first and making sure that you really are making homes for the things that are important to you will make organizing so much easier. The second mistake that people make so often is striving for Pinterest-worthy perfection instead of just getting a job done. Now, something I always asked my clients is what their expectation was. Because if they were looking for that beautifully crafted room, then we were going to have to spend a lot more money to buy the things to display it in a proper way. Or if they were just looking for a functional room that they could work around in and find things. That's what my goal is to make a functional room. And in this instance, this client was a perfect example. They were avid sewers, quilt makers, and they had a lot of different material. By just adding 2 racks in the corner, we were able to organize all of their fabrics by color hues, have the larger pieces in those stowaway bags that they had bought to go under their bed, but their underbed was already full, and create a lot of space in their closet for all of the smaller items that they needed for sewing. This is by no means picture-worthy perfect. However, they were able to reach all of the things that they needed when they were sewing. Their sewing machines and sergers were now available to use and no longer piled under that material. So by striving for done is sometimes so much more efficient than striving for perfection. Here's another room. In this client example, this bedroom is huge, but they had downsized from a much larger home and they were having a hard time fitting all of their things into a small closet. So as she was unpacking, it had just overwhelmed the room. By going through and being honest with the items that she currently needed with her new lifestyle, she was recently divorced, her kids had grown, she was retired. She didn't need the excess of clothing that she used to need for work. She just needed vacation clothes, church clothes, weekend clothes. So we were able to pare down considerably. But that also meant curtailing her expectations just a little bit of not that picture perfect walk-in closet, but a way to have all of her items put away. So again, not perfection, but done and working. This third thing that people make a mistake of often is one I just mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Do not plan on doing an entire room or house. Focus on small spaces first. Focus on just a shelf in a closet. Focus on just a drawer with your pens and pencils. An area in your closet for purses and shoes. Or if you have a lot of miscellaneous categories, a small bookcase or storage rack will allow you to break down categories in size-appropriate boxes so that you know where everything is. Even a small pantry cabinet can absolutely give you a huge boost of confidence if you work on just organizing what's in there and looking at different storage solutions. I've always been a big fan of Dollar Tree containers, of Daiso, of whatever Dollar General. But knowing what you need to organize first by breaking it into likes with likes is always going to be a big help, which segues into a bonus tip for you. Break it down, likes with likes. This was probably the biggest job I had in my entire career. This was a home business that they had completely felt overwhelmed with. And while I forgot to take a before picture, you can see already I have boxes set aside that are for sorting. And this is what we continued doing throughout the entire job. Now, this was not a 1 week project, 2 week project, but 3 weeks. And it was with a few of my best organizers. This room turned out amazing, and we were so proud to have given them their space back to allow them to do their home business. We knew where every single paper was, but again, this was 3 weeks, 5 days in a row with several organizers helping me on this project. But at the end, it was probably my most proud job because of the impact that it made on the homeowners. This does not mean you're going to need 3 weeks in a row of doing a job and having multiple people help you. It does mean, though, that you'll break it down into those small categories. Start with decluttering, letting go of those things that you don't need, remembering that done is so much better than perfect because you can always revisit your organizing later. And by doing it in small chunks at a time, eventually you're going to realize you've gotten through an entire room. And then you can go back to that first area that you organized and revisit it. It's so rewarding to open up that drawer and see that everything is in its place and it's organized. And when you need an item, you open the drawer and it's right there. But better yet, putting it right back in the home that you've now established is such a motivator to keep going onto that next drawer, next cabinet, next closet, and eventually the entire room. I know this was a very quick video. My daughter is coming in to see me today and I'm so excited. So I'm going to do my best. She's visiting. Both of them are coming out for about a week. I'm going to do my best to get another video out next week, but I might miss it. But if I do, I promise I will get right back on track and catch you the week after. But I'm still going to try and get a video up next week. Let me know if you found yourself guilty of doing any of these things. I know I'm guilty of a lot of them, including organizing before decluttering. In the unpacking process that we have right now, I have found that I brought so many things that I didn't need to pack or pay to have moved. So that's my guilty one. Which one are you guilty of? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.